to meet Eric Hernandez, and he's not in the changing room. So let's have a look. Come with me. Let's go and see if we can find him. Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Okay, I wonder if he's hanging with his brother. You know what? He's told me to meet him down here. The fab room. Don't look. Man, okay. Not many guys or girls get to come to this place. Now I've got to do the special knock. It's the paradiddle knock. Yo!
Hey, come on in, man.
Well, this is your crib.
Man.
Welcome to your crib.
This is my dressing room.
Ah, this is
My sanctuary.
good. Eric, it's great to see you again in London. In fact, I think we met in this very place.
This very
a couple of years
place.
ago.
This very room.
Yes, and that was the first ever Bruno Mars tour
Yes.
when you did the show. So, a couple of things that really stand out since I've got to know you is, and you've mentioned it already, you are very strong family values, obviously, and Bruno is obviously your little brother as well. But the guys in the band seem to all be the same guys. You've got the same drum tech. Is that something that is important to you as at work as well?
Absolutely. You know, I basically on this tour have, well, as far as the band, the Hooligans, I mean, those are 9 of my brothers. You know, yeah, I have one blood brother here, but we've gotten so close over the last few years. I mean, most of us have been together since 2010. So this is my family. This is who I entrust myself with, musically, personally, when leaving my bubble at home. So these are my band of brothers, and it's a great dynamic, you know. And we all kind of, when we get together on stage, we're one. When we get off stage or we decompress, we're one, and then we go into our separate zones and we stay there, and we get along like true brothers. You know, there's tiffs here and there,
Yeah, like
but the good thing is we work it out.
Yeah. It's the same with Jason though. I mean, I know Jason, your tech, has been with you from the beginning, but also when we've met away from gigs, he's there. We've been out and had dinner, Jason's there. I mean, he's there all the time.
He's my dude, man, and he's been with me since day one, and I've watched him evolve, you know, and I can't tell you the countless compliments I get on who's tuning your drums, who's doing this, who's doing that, and he's dug so deep into this world, and he's more than a tech to me, but he's dug so deep into this world where he's figured out solutions of things that we've come across, and even before they've become a problem, he's like, hey, I had this idea. It's like, brilliant. You know, our whole electronics rig now, it was his brainstorm. You know, of course I talked to friends and like Brian Fraser-Moore, who's really heavy on that, and Joe Clegg, who's got that down. Hit them up, ran things through them. They gave me their ideas and their input, and Jason took all that and figured it out, and we have a great system now. Much more pads going on. I've kind of gotten away from the SPD pad. The SPD SX is what I was typically using. The problem I found with that is we needed more external outputs, and also Bruno's one of those artists where there's a lot of visual cues, and if my head's buried looking for this small square on the SPD pad, then I might be missing a cue, and I've missed quite a few, and I'd hear about it after the show. And he'd say, hey, you're not paying attention to me. I'm like, oh man, I had to hit that finger snap, or that hand clap, or that 808 drop. So I wanted to give myself a bigger surface so that I can find it, get comfortable with where I feel it, and then I can keep my eyes on Bruno. I've also incorporated a electronic kick pedal, trigger pedal, but that saved me during one of our first shows where I put a bass drum beater through the head, and it was right in the middle of the show, and had I not had that, I wouldn't have had a kick drum. I would have probably been playing, you know, all the kick drum patterns on my floor tom to cover until I could figure out a time for my drum tech to fix it. But that ended up working out, and now that wasn't meant for that. That was meant for me to have the ability to do an 808 bass drum note. And that was kind of the intention. But after that incident and it saving me, it's now my backup kick. So now what I do is whatever song I'm playing, whatever patch I'm on electronically, the same kick sound that I would trigger on my acoustic is now in that pedal. So it's kind of like you wouldn't miss it. So it would hopefully be seamless, minus hearing the actual acoustic kick. I've also changed my setup as far as how I've positioned drums and sizes. There's a lot of R&B songs on this album, which give me the ability to add an 8-inch tom and make it more musical that way. Because I believe in having the right gear for what you're playing and for the music and for what the show demands. And this show demands a lot more of those sweet colors and as well as splash cymbals. I mean, I've gotten a couple more splashes up this time around. And again, it's 90s R&B inspired. And if you go back and watch, like the guys I would watch playing gigs like this is kind of resembling their setup at the time. And I'm trying to be time specific, sound specific, much as I can.
So are you triggering loops off the pads or are you just samples?
No loops, just samples.
Okay. So, and are you changing the patches on them as well?
Actually, how we did it this time, I think is smarter, is Jason, my drum tech, is changing it. So this is all running and powered through a TD50, Roland TD50. So we loaded all our samples into that. And what he's doing is each song, he's changing it for me. So I just have to memorize what's what and where it is. And he handles that. So it kind of takes some stress off of me because it used to be, okay, foot switch or find the button real quick in between songs. And now if there's transitions, it's a little bit harder if they're musical transitions where I'm still playing, where he's handling it for me and it's seamless, you know?
What's it like for you out on the road, being away from the family, and how do you keep yourself busy, etc., etc.?
Well, truthfully, the family part is the hardest part for me. I mean, now we've developed a relationship. You know me now. My kids are everything, my wife. But at the same time, I do it for them. You know, this is the best way I know to make a living, the best way I know how to make money. I enjoy it the best. So thankfully for technology, it's not an issue. You know, FaceTime every night. Sometimes I FaceTime 2, 3, 4 times a day because I want to see my daughter. I want to see my son. He might have a question on baseball, and we're discussing his pitching. And I actually, yesterday we did this. He set up the camera outside right over home plate in our backyard, and he positioned himself, and I watched him pitch. And, you know, he would tell me, oh, Dad, that was in the strike zone. And that stuff, like, makes me feel like I'm still parenting and helping and raising a son. Same with my daughter, talking to her. It's the best. And then when I'm on stage and it's showtime and I'm in that zone, I don't have a worry in the world. I'm in love with the space I'm in. I'm playing music, I'm playing drums, and I'm doing what I love and what I feel is my purpose. So for that hour-and-a-half show, I'm on cloud 9, unless I really screw up. But I'm on cloud 9, and that's when I'm kind of worry-free. When I get off the stage and then I decompress, then it's like, oh, man, okay, I miss the family. And that's when that kicks back in. But I just try to stay busy, you know, on days off. The way this tour is structured, we're doing 2 shows, maybe a day off, and then another show, a day off. I'm actually making it a point to go out and see the town, as well as you know, we always talk about physical fitness. I'm heavily into working out. I've lost some weight, and I'm trying to keep it down, and that's always a struggle. I'm human. I like to eat. I'm in this business, and, you know, there's a lot of food around, catering, and so, you know, balancing all that. But I try to balance my day properly,
Okay,
so that I can mix it with family.
Because this tour is up till, I mean, you're touring through to October 2018.
That's the word, yeah.
Okay, that's a toll on your body, to say the least, mentally and physically. So when you say that you look after yourself and you keep fit, do you feel that you need to do the job every night?
Absolutely. Cardio is very important for this job. This show is pretty, well, it feels to me pretty fast-paced, you know, and there's times where at the end of a number I'm breathing hard, like I just ran on a treadmill or ran outside and I mean, or did some type of workout. So I definitely can feel the conditioning of implementing a lot of cardiovascular exercises, because I feel like I'm in better shape even on stage. You know, so not only am I thinking about my health and staying healthy, but it's actually helping my performance, lasting longer on during the show and not burning out. You know.
Are you approaching the playing any different? Are you playing any different on this tour than you did before?
I'd say yeah. I want to say that, I mean, I think we're constantly learning, and we're constantly, as musicians, we should always be learning our craft. And I feel like I'm still maturing. So I want to say I think my playing's matured, but also I'm thinking about these songs and how they sound like New Jack Swing, R&B, 90s era. What kind of fills were those guys doing back then? That's kind of been my approach to it. So I'm changing for the music I'm playing, yes. And again, I feel like I'm maturing as a player, as a person, as a player. So my mind thinks differently. You know, I'm not trying to get whatever lick I can get in there. It's about servicing the song, servicing the music, the show. And I think the ultimate goal is to make sure that crowd is continuously moving, because then the energy just stays up. Because they're not here for me.
Final question on this kit is the logos on the inside, the Chanel, or what was the concept behind that?
Actually, it's the Greek key. You see a lot of it in Versace designs. The concept came about me talking with Bruno a long time ago about cool designs we could do for the kit, and I think we spoke about it last time you interviewed me a few years back. And you kind of helped me design a kit for the Super Bowl, and I was going back and forth with Drum Workshop. So it started as this Greek key thing here. Louis Garcia over at DW did this for me on the bass drum hoops of the original kit that I played for the Super Bowl. And we just started with it being on the bass drum hoops, and it kind of became a thing for me. And I was like, you know, I really like this design. So I had a snare drum made like that. I had a couple, not just these. And I kind of always said, you know what, that's going to be my thing. Every time I build a new kit with DW, I'll always do it to my bass drum hoop, so it kind of be my own signature thing. For this tour, we thought it'd be cool to put it around each shell, and we wanted to try that out, and I think it looks beautiful, personally.
How does your build up to showtime? How does that normally work? What's the sort of schedule for you?
A standard schedule. Typical day, get here to the venue, sound check about 4. I'd like to hit catering and have dinner about 5:30. And our show time usually is 9:15. So between finishing dinner, then I'll sit around, unwind, contact back home, because we're 8 hours ahead. Speak with them for a while. Then we have a practice room on this tour. So we actually have a room dedicated with a drum set in there. All of our instruments are set up so we can actually work on arrangements, or we can personally warm up as a band.
Oh, cool.
Sometimes we just jam. Sometimes I'm in there by myself, and I'm just working out things, or just playing, just to get blood flowing. So last tour I had a pad, and before show I'd warm up on a pad, where this way I'm actually moving through a kit, so it kind of gets me going. So it definitely feels a lot better. And we also set up the room to record, so if we ever come up with a brilliant idea, we can record and document that idea. So then I'll do that when I usually do that around 8 o'clock to about maybe 8:30, 8:45, and that's when it's half an hour till showtime. I'll go to my dressing room, start to change into show apparel, and kind of mentally get myself prepared for the gig. And then I'll send one last text home, hey, going on in 10 minutes, just so that I can see my family, say, have a great show, I love you, and boom, I'm in show mode.
And what about after the show? Do you have a...
After the show, typically, and it's hard because, a lot of times I might have guests come to watch a show. I need a good 20 minutes. That's a minimum. Because you come off stage, you're sweaty. I just played an hour-and-a-half show with pyrotechnics, so I got pyro dust blowing, which if you've never smelled pyro dust, I know you have, but for someone out there who's never smelled pyro dust, it smells like a rotten egg. and it's all over your hair, your body, especially if you sweat. It sticks to you. By the time you're showering, it's like a bad fart, you know, the aroma of a bad fart. So I need 20 minutes to decompress because I just had loud music playing and I've just played a show. Then I'm relaxed, take a shower. I might pour a drink or open a beer. And that's kind of when I'm like, all right, it's a great show tonight. I feel good about it. I'm back on level ground.
Okay, well, final question. And people can read about this in the interview that we did a few years ago. When we were last sitting in this place and we did that interview, you were still in a transition from being from the LAPD, okay, to becoming a touring musician with probably one of the biggest artists in the world. You seem to be a lot more relaxed and a lot more comfortable now. Do you feel like you've settled into that now?
100%.
Right.
100%. In fact, I mean, I'll always have that in my heart as far as the brotherhood that I had as a policeman, but I don't have it in my heart anymore, if that makes any sense. You know, I have a tremendous amount of respect for my friends, my brothers and sisters that are still doing that job. It's a tough job, especially nowadays. And I look at me now and I feel like, man, I couldn't do that job nowadays. You know, and I have friends out there kicking butt, and I mean that in a way as like, you know, doing good work. Yeah. Not literally kicking butts. Yeah. And it's a tough job. And when you met me, I was still on that, coming out of that transition. So that was still a part of me, where now this side is the part of me. More importantly, my family is a part of me, because I never had that when I was a cop. I had my son the last 6 months of me being in the field. But now I have a 6-year-old going on 7. My daughter's turning 3 next month. My whole mindset's changed. Right. You know, and I'm a full-blown musician now. And I just want to focus on this, get better at this. Like I said at the drum kit, you know, I feel like I'm constantly evolving, I'm constantly learning, and I hope to never stop, because that's when it will get dull, and I don't want it to. And I just want to be the best I can for the job I'm doing, which right now is this gig, and I want to be the best dad and husband I can be.
Well, on that note, it's been great seeing you evolve into that person, and thanks for spending your time. And next time I see you will be when you're doing the barbecue at your place. So
absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.